Hello, coming at this from a new angle today. So, I've just finished reading this novel, Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoyevsky, and what a masterpiece this is. The effect of having read this is like just having watched a psychological thriller movie of some sort. Dostoevsky is undoubtedly one of the most brilliant novelists to have walked this earth. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Every single chapter was so gripping, the flow was beautiful, the pacing was just right. Um, I suppose it must have been even better to read this in Russian in the original text, because, of course, this is a translated version. For those who are curious, this is the Constance Garnett version. I don't know about any of the other versions out there, but this version I can vouch for. It's excellent. So about the book starts off with this young man of 23 years. He's contemplating committing a crime, murder to be precise. So he's actually a good man. He's also extremely intelligent and very thoughtful. So you may guess that he has his own very good reasons for wanting to commit this murder attempt. And I suppose I can tell you that he does go ahead with the murder. It says so on the back cover, so I'm not really spoiling anything. Anyway, what follows is a gripping tale about him getting away with it, or does he, or maybe he does. It's there is some oscillation during the course of the investigation. Um, but this detective aspect is not what makes the novel amazing. What makes it so brilliant is the way Dostoevsky explores the psyche of a man who wants to commit a murder, and what happens just after he commits the murder, how he's afraid of the consequences. He really delves into it, and wow, it's amazing. There's also a vast array of side characters, all of whom are really well written, and they really grab our attention. And as is the case with most of my favorite novels, movies, and TV shows and stuff, there is no real evil villain of any sort. It's there's only circumstance. There's no evil and good, or righteousness versus villainy or something like that. There's just circumstance. There will be people who you like and you don't like at various points of the story based on how things turn out. And it's just fantastic. I'm sure that most people cannot even conceive of the kind of drama that occurs in this book. And several of the emotions, there's definitely a lot in this book that you have never thought about. And a lot of that comes from Dostoevsky's own experiences. Maybe I can tell you a short story that as a youngster, when Fyodor Dostoevsky himself was in his 20s sometime, he was arrested and condemned to death um, for a political crime. Now, he was not a particularly outspoken person, and he generally stayed out of politics. So, actually, Dostoevsky's big crime was that he was part of a group of intellectuals. That was his only crime. He had this sort of a literature club kind of a thing going on, and they would all meet up and they would read and study some common interests, some of which happened to be illegal. Let's just put it that way. I think he got caught for reading Gogol, who was a very famous writer of the time, and he's very respected even today. The monarch at the time, Nicholas the First, I believe, he was known to be a little bit crazy. So on some rather trumped up charges, Dostoevsky and a few of his acquaintances found themselves on death row. And he has written several letters to his brother about his emotions and his mental state during this period of time. And in fact, after 8 months of jail time, they are all finally lined up and tied down, ready to be shot dead. Dostoevsky remembers that he was third in the line, um, until all of a sudden they were ordered to just get up and leave, because apparently the king had changed his mind. And the sentence was changed to that of hard labor in Siberia. So he got his life back, but it can be difficult to recover from an experience such as this. Some of the people who were with him immediately lost their sanity and never regained it. And Dostoevsky himself suffered from fits for the rest of his life. Um, it's a little bit tragic because, being exceedingly intelligent, he had a very bright future for himself, one might imagine. And well, the silver lining, if you can call it a silver lining, is that he gained a plethora of emotions and insights from which to draw upon, in his repertoire of writing skills, and draw from it he did. Wow, some of it really does reflect in this book very, very clearly. And I feel blessed to have read a masterpiece such as this one. I'm being very honest here. I would highly recommend that each and every person watching this reads this book. It's simply amazing. Preferably if you're over 20 years old, because you do need a certain degree of maturity to fully appreciate it. But even if you're younger, I am 100% sure that you will really enjoy it nonetheless. Um, that's all I really have to say. Fantastic book, must read. Thank you for watching.